Little gloomier than I expected. Honestly, it was pretty sunny this morning. I was kind of hoping to do a garage door open kind of chest day tonight. But either way, not a problem whatsoever. So, like I was talking about yesterday, I want to start changing up my chest workouts a little bit, or at least adding some different lifts. And what I mean by that is I always do basically either two extremes when it comes to chest. I'll either do a really heavy kind of quick set, sometimes not even that quick, but like on the quicker side of things, of like incline dumbbell or incline Smith, incline barbell, and I'm kind of just throwing it around, right? But since it's a lot of weight, it is a lot of actual mechanical tension. I do feel like I get something good out of it. And then I move on to lighter squeezing stuff, be it like pec deck, cables, converging chest press, really squeeze with a burn, but not so much of, not so heavy at the bottom in the stretch position, right? So I need to kind of combine the two, because usually I would think slower controlled reps with the flies feels better, and nastier heavy reps with the pressing feels better. But I think I need a combination of slower, controlled, heavy pressing, right? So that's where machine press honestly ends up being pretty much perfect, because just the fact that the movement is locked, I don't have to worry about like any specific kind of imbalance or like just anything kind of funky, like even with incline dumbbell, like potentially having them go forward, backward, inward, outward, whatever. Like with a machine, since it's got a fixed movement path, I can really just push as hard as I can without having to worry about any other, kind of stabilizers or balancers or anything. And some see that as a negative, right? Some would hear that and think, well, you shouldn't really do that much machine work then. You should do much more free bar or like freeweight work, because you're working those stabilizers. And I understand the logic, of course. But it's, you can get a little bit more specifically targeted with the machine, I feel. Like, I'm not saying you can't with regular free weights. I mean, you're never going to catch me doing a friggin' arm day without dumbbells. It just won't happen. But, you have to at least understand the value of either or. We're not so brutish like we were back in the 90s and 2000s, where that was even a real question. It's like, oh, do you train free weights, or you one of those fucking losers who use machines? And sorry for the F-bomb, but gotta emphasize what I'm kind of getting at there. But now we know, as long as whatever movement you end up doing is targeting that intended muscle, you're pretty much good. Speaking of that yawn, I had a good nap after a reasonably large meal about an hour and a half ago. And frankly, that's a pretty good setup, because I would not want to eat a meal 20 minutes ago and then walk into the gym with a full stomach. Not to mention the fact that if you got undigested food sitting in here, that's going to interfere with your absorption of your pre anyway, right? Like, honestly, I want to wait at least probably an hour and a half, maybe even just 2 hours after eating a real large, like, carb-centric meal, so that I can actually kind of get it through me. I don't feel like I have anything sitting in my gut, and I just kind of feel a little more, light on my feet. I've never like thrown up because I had a meal too soon before working out. But let's say you had a leftover lasagna and meatloaf in the fridge. You slam, a pound worth, half pound lasagna, half pound of meatloaf, and then you try to come to the gym and do leg press 30 minutes later. Let's just say that's not a recipe for success. That's looking a little closer to a recipe to freaking disaster. But I think no more alluding to it. Let's just go see what kind of a chest bump I can get. All right, so I was gonna start with incline dumbbell, but the 150s were a little light. And I don't mean light, like obviously 150s are not light, but it would have been like, well, I don't know, I guess it might be different. I do those reps extra slow, but I want to kind of bias a real heavy set that's still slow. And I think I'll be able to get much more out of this chest press than I could with the 150s. So the plan is to go back over there, but let's do at least one nasty set here. Because honestly, I mean, with one real legitimate balls to the wall heavy set, where it's like 10, 8 rep actual failure, like you're not just cheating yourself, like you actually could not lift that shit again, that'll give me a pretty dang solid hit strength-wise. So when I go back to the dumbbells and then grab the 150s, shit, man, they're gonna feel like the 200s. Now, I couldn't do the 200s, of course, but you get what I'm getting at. So now all I gotta do is get amped up. I did 4 plates last week for, I don't know, like 8 or something. So 4 plates and a 25. Let's see what I can make happen. If I can get a good freaking song going. Yeah, I know what I want to play. You gotta look up the Berserk My Brother metal cover. Yeah, that's where it's at. Come on, what's going on here? All right. Okay. Oh my God. Oh shit. Yeah, that was good. That's what I wanted. Oh. Now do I do a set of dumbbells to change it up and then come back? That used to be a weird approach. Well, not weird, but that used to be one of my chest workouts. I do incline barbell, then alternate. So 1 set incline barbell, 1 set dumbbell, 1 set barbell, 1 set dumbbell. Yeah, let's do that today. Let's do a little throwback. No chance I get 4 into 25 again. So next time I come back over here, let's call it a reasonable 4 plates. I'm not sure how heavy this really feels though. Because, well, I don't know. I guess I could do the math. If I measured how far apart this handle was from here and how far apart the weight was from here, whatever. Let's just go heavy. Keep it simple. Now the 150s are ready for me. Do it. Oh my God. Let's go back to the machine. Oh my gosh. I'd tell you something though, it is nice to pick up the 150s and they don't feel like lead bricks. Oh geez. When we filled up the gym with all this shit, we had a pallet of all these dumbbells outside. We couldn't roll it in. So we had to lug them all back and forth. I don't think I've ever felt a heavier dumbbell. But let's go back, throw some machine press around, and then probably come back to here for one more. Okay. Oh. Fuck. The 150 bounced and knocked the 140 off. Yeah, these urethane floors are freaking putting in work. But let's move on. I don't know what to next, but frankly, even like if I left right now, I think I still would have made some solid stimulus. But come on, we're not done just yet. Get freaking real. This will be the last set here. 3 and a 25. Yeah, this will be good. Okay. Oh. If I can find my phone to get my next song playing. What the hell? You were watching me just now. Where the hell did I put it? All right, she was hidden in plain sight. So, yeah, honestly, after those, shit, how many sets was that? Machine press, dumbbell, machine press, dumbbell, machine press. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, shit. I mean, with the heft of them, those 5 feel like they were more than freaking enough. So I think this at least has the potential to be a finisher. Let me actually go up 1 notch on either. But this is going to be kind of a 2-phase movement. And if you're not so well equipped, of course now I'm extra freaking spoiled with all this, but this was a classic finisher for me in the home gym of my parents' basement, right? There's no pec deck. So what it would end up being was I do some kind of press, incline dumbbell, incline barbell, whatever. And afterward, grab either a bench or just go up against a dumbbell rack. And once you finish a hard set of pressing or anything chest related, this actually feels pretty damn good. So I'm talking lean up against something, literally like I'm only at a 45-degree angle. This is like multitudes of times easier than even like a push-up when you're on your knees. But what the logic is kind of have my hands facing palms inward and just doing some squeezing reps. No crazy weight, no nothing. Like this isn't wild. But as a finisher, just to get a little extra burn, it's solid. So this first portion will be more of a decline, squeezing just overall flat fly till, I approach failure. Then a couple of reps here. Shit, man, we'll be ready to set the lights up and get the damn pose down. I'm really excited for what I'm going to be looking like here. All right. Oops. There we go. Okay.
that obviously wasn't so crazy as the the incline dumbbell or the almost 5-plate press. But as a finisher, I'm just trying to get as much blood in here as possible. So we're pumped. Let's pose down. There we go. All right. Actually, gotta zoom out a touch, but for the sake of making sure I'm in focus, it's kind of necessary. But if I told you that right now I felt anything short of an absolute physical beast, look, man, I'd be lying. Even just walking around, I was kind of hyping myself up from having already done those sets of like incline dumbbell and the crazy heavy pressing. Yeah, I tell you something, I'm definitely kind of, getting myself amped up with some screams a little bit more when I'm in here versus, kind of like a public space. Because, I mean, let's be real, it's a little wild to get under a chest press of the Y. Come on! It's a little out of place, right? I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. Of course, it depends on your gym and their, how much of a sense of tolerance they have for you. But, yeah, there's no limit in here, right? I've only got a few rules for this gym, right? Don't hurt yourself. Don't break anything. And go hard. That's pretty much it. Anything else is kind of open season, right? But let's yeah, let's see how we're looking. Oh, goodness. Oh my gosh. Whew. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Let's just see how the back's looking too while I'm here. Oh. Actually, shit, let's flip you around. Honestly, the lighting over here is almost a little damn cooler. Let me take you up a notch. Yeah, check this shit out. Oh. Oh yeah. All right. Well, that was what I call a damn proper chest day. Frankly, I don't think I've had a chest pump that good for quite a while. And by pump, I really just mean a chest day, like a full-on lift. Now, half of that is to do with the fact that for the last, almost 6 months, I've been dieting down, and my carb intake was well, let's just say on the lighter side of things for the purpose of the, all the bodybuilding shows. But frankly, I mean, that's extra fun. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I keep looking back at some of the pictures when I was in Dragon's Lair at Vegas. Well, not like a lot, but I mean, I think that was my coolest in the gym look. Still reasonably full, but pretty grainy. Like some of those front double bi shots. Yeah, I want to recreate that with a stage presence, but that's for later. But I mean, that's kind of the fun part, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a little different if you're on the more casual side of things, no competing, just regular bulking and cutting. But even then, you get the gist. Because for me, at least, if I get into a real deficit, the lifts do kind of lack a certain intensity. And I'm not saying like I'm just going easy for the fun of it because I don't want to go hard. But it's like the nature of just maintaining your gains and maintaining your physique. It's not the craziest thing in the world to do. You know, frankly, if right now I just started eating at maintenance, not bulking, not cutting, I mean, I could probably get away with like, I don't know how many lifts per week and just stay the exact same size. Not progress, but not, you know, decline either, just stay where I'm at. So dieting, it's kind of like that, right? It's putting a pause on muscular progress. Now, of course, it's for the sake of getting leaner. For me, at least, in between bulks, it lets me reset my appetite, reset my insulin sensitivity and everything so that I can actually start eating food again. I mean, at the end of at the end of the last bulk, I was not chowing down much at all. I essentially taken my system to a point where it was like, yeah, Sam, no more food. We're good, right? But after that whole dieting phase and essentially a break, right, it's building up that freaking, you know, kind of appetite, that hunger. And now, I mean, even eating like 3,800-ish calories a day, I'm still not even really pushing it either. But that's easy. So I want to continue to increase my calorie intake slowly so I can keep progressing. Not only size-wise, but also intensity-wise. I mean, I want these lifts to be triple the intensity by the end of this bulking phase than they are now. Now, that might be an exaggeration, but you know, it's kind of good to take things to the extreme because at least if you fall short, you still got somewhere, right? But that's definitely the benefit, I think, of bulking and dieting back and forth like that. I'm not saying to an extreme, don't get straight, you know, 30% body fat in a bulk, and you don't have to diet down to bone dry peeled in a cut either, right? There is kind of a good ebb and flow. But, you know, taking a break from one to do the other, shit, man, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So if I don't bulk for 5 months, you can be pretty damn sure I want to come back like a freight train. And if I haven't dieted for maybe another 6 months or 5 months, then, you know, the same thing's going to be true in reverse. Eventually, I'll have my fill of throwing a shit ton of weight around and being nice and big and bulked and full. And I'll say, all right, I want to see what I've built, and then peel down and kind of reveal the damn skyscraper by taking off all the scaffolding, which is, you know, the body fat that I start to gain. But in either case, you know, you can't be, I mean, I say this a lot. This will be my last kind of shtick before we get out of here. But don't look at the negative side, right? Everybody loves to highlight it. You know, somebody might look at even this bulk phase for me. I mean, dude, you don't think I see all sorts of crazy ass comments? You know, oh, dude, Sam, you looked way cooler 2 months ago. Shit, man, I mean, I think I'd agree. I mean, I just said that shit, you know, I definitely did look cool looking in the mirror. Lean, diced, veiny, granular, fucking, you know, quad striations and feathering and everything else. But that's not a state of progressing. You know, we were, this was kind of, I don't want to say a trend, but I feel like we were seeing a little bit of a fitness phase, at least with like younger guys a couple years ago, where it was lean is law. Like that's kind of coming back now, but I mean, it was, I'm talking like every 150-pound lifter was trying to get as diced as possible. At least, well, not all of them, but a lot of like, you know, TikTok characters I was seeing. And it's like, dude, there's no point in getting a fancy ass paint job on a beater car, right? You got to fill that shit up on the inside, swap the engine, get a new transmission, you know, build up a solid framework first. And then once you start to peel down, you've at least got something to show for it, you know? So that's what I like about the back and forth, because I mean, it's like by definition, for me at least, the best of both worlds. So if I get a little soft on a bulk, who cares? And if I lose some strength on a cut, same shit, man. You know, that's just the nature of it. What are you supposed to, you're supposed to whine when winter comes around, when you're all happy in the warm summer? No, come on. Comes and goes. But let's go home, eat something, and then pass the heck out. So tomorrow I've got some back, and I mean, I'm sure we'll just come right back in here. Because that pullover machine and that pull down machine in the corner, I swear, they're hitting my lats in like a higher kind of right under the armpit kind of way that no other movements have been doing for me. And that's what I want, right? I want my lats to really widen up top so that they can fill in that little, you know, forearm to body gap that I've got when I do like a front or back lat spread. But I think no more talking. Let's get in the car, man. That was a badass lift. Now this is a very good state for me to be in, right? And what is that state? It is being able to get in the car with a freaking tired ass chest, sweaty, semi out of breath, and I get to say, I did it. Made that shit happen. Went at least close to as hard as I could have gone on those sets. It gets a little ambiguous, right? Because it's a little tricky. Because let's say I was just a little bit extra hyped for those sets of chest press and those sets of dumbbells. Just how many more reps could I have done? You know, that's the kind of reflection I want to look at my training and actually put a little bit of thought into it and think, okay, did I really go as hard as I could? Right? Was there anything else I could have done? Should I maybe have sped up, slowed down a little? You know, I'm not saying I'm looking back at that workout like, oh my God, I should have done it like this. I'm not saying like that, right? But, you know, if you got a crazy heavy set of something or other, or just, you know, a light squeezing, burning set of something, and it's a real working set that you want to take to failure, you know, it's not like it's so easy to train to complete failure that you can completely just do it on demand. You know, it's not that simple of a thing to do, because you really have to get into a certain state, and the harder you go, the more consistently, the easier it is to do. You know, I mean, if you took a beginner and put him under a chest press with a manageable weight, let's say he could easily do 10 reps, you know, it'd be kind of hard to get into 15, and 20 is his actual like physical limit. Like, let's say studies were done for a guy his size with his strength level and, you know, exposure, or, you know, let's say you got to a point where you could analyze his muscle fibers and really calculate just how much like potential work he could do. Let's say 20 is the real limit, right? If you took a random guy off the street where 20 was his real limit and he's never trained before, when do you think he's going to stop? You know, when do you think he's going to say, I can't do anymore? At 20? Probably not. Maybe even 10. You know, I've seen guys where they wanted to stop a set, and then luckily they've got some boys next to him who are like yelling at him like, keep going, don't rack that shit. And then the guy does another 10 reps of pendulum squats. So it's like, you're about to rack it with 10 reps in reserve? Now, as a beginner, that's not a bad thing, because you're still working up to it, right? I wouldn't expect, I mean, even when I look back at myself as a beginner, you know, I wasn't taking every set to like complete perfect failure. Frankly, I was doing a lot of like just kind of fluff junk volume, I think. Not total junk. I mean, even I was definitely pushing myself pretty hard, but I could have definitely optimized my earlier workouts for sure. But what are you gonna do? It's freaking years ago. But, you know, over time, as years progress, like anything, you know, if you come to the gym, essentially the practice that you're engaging in is physically pushing yourself. That's the activity that we're all coming to the gym to do. So would it not make sense that the longer you do it, the better you should get at it, right? Like if someone's been lifting for 5 years versus someone who's been lifting for 2 years, if you could somehow like, you know, put a damn neural scanner on their head with the little like sticky pads and stuff and get a reading of their like physical exertion levels and just how hard they're pushing themselves, the guy who's been lifting for a while should be pushing himself harder than the guy who's just kind of a beginner, you know, because he's gotten better at it. But I think there's a certain comfort level, plus there's a lot of kind of like mental traps you can get stuck in that might make you want to pull back, right? I mean, we hear reps in reserve, we hear overtraining, we hear stimulus to fatigue ratio. I mean, all these kind of factors can very easily be twisted in somebody's mind as a lifter to think, oh, I don't want to go too hard. I mean, you know, excuse my language. Are you freaking kidding me? You don't want to go too hard? I mean, that's nuts. I mean, I never want to even think that. You know, it's a little different if you're dieting and you're just maintaining your muscle, right? That's a different state. But if you're in an off season, or you're just maintaining and you're physically trying to make progress and break new ground, be it size, be it strength. I mean, shit, man, even if you're a damn, what do they call it? Hybrid athlete, right? Really, you want to go easy on your sprints, or you want to pull it? It's like, oh, I'm running the 5K. I did a mile. I don't want to go too hard. Like, dude, I think that is an absolute deterrent to progress. I don't want to go too hard, and that's something you should be thinking, right? It's, I mean, I feel like in my mind, it's maybe not a fear per se. Like, I'm not driven when I come to these workouts, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be such a piece of shit if I can't push this set to failure. I've heard people say that. I think it's a very twisted sense of motivation, right? But it's not so much of, okay, I'm less than if I can't push it to failure. It's more so, I know I'm capable of doing it. I want to see how hard I can push it, you know? So that's my kind of driving force. So if that's the case, and I have everything in order, sleep, diet, hydration, I mean, I got my damn gallon jug of electrolytes right here with me. You know, I'm trying to keep myself extra hydrated so I can have proper electrolyte balance and everything else. If I want all that to be in order, and I do get it in order, and then I come to the gym, shit, man, right? Why chill? You know, if you're what's the word I'm thinking of? I guess I can't think of a different analogy than that. But if everything's in order, why not go as hard as you can? Right? And of course, I'm not saying, you know, go for a 4-plate bench if you've never done it, right? But I mean regular working sets. You know, if you pick a weight where you can do 10 reps, guaranteed, are you really going to go for 10? In your mind, are you thinking, okay, if I get 10, that'll be good enough? No, man, right? That freaking sucks. It's not like I do this every set, but for a good portion of my working sets, I mean, I'm trying to not even get a number in my mind. Like, I mean, of course I do. It's hard not to, right? It's hard for me to get on the incline dumbbell and not, like, have a realistic expectation. Like, okay, I might get 12. I don't know. I might get 10. You know, we'll see, right? It's hard not to do that, but I try not to, right? My real goal is I want to see just how many I can do, right? So in the beginning, I mean, those first 5 reps of the dumbbell bench and the 5 reps of that chest press, I mean, I'm not saying it was nothing, but those are well within my capability as a lifter. So why would I kind of just want to cut it when I know I'm still within an amount of reps that is in my freaking, you know, wheelhouse? You know, I want to take it further, push it beyond plus ultra to the point where, like, shit ain't moving, you know, to the point where my body isn't even listening to my mind. And I'm trying to get it to push harder, but it just won't. You know, that's what a lot of working sets should be like. And if they're not, dude, I mean, you know, like with any motivation, where your mind goes, the body will follow. It's the same thing with the gym. You know, we talk so much about diet and training and like your style and your frequency. Like, should I be doing full body? Would I be Dorian Yates size if I did full body every other day? You know, oh, maybe. Come on, let's get real here, right? But what I think differentiates guys who kill it versus guys who are kind of just engaging in it is the ones who go nuts, you know? And I'm not saying you have to be screaming every set. I mean, I see a lot of guys where they're posting their workout edits and they're totally stone-faced with like 150-pound dumbbells. I know the guy's still killing it, but you know, he might not look like it just by like his expressions, right? But it's the ones that I feel just want to see how hard they can go. And in that pursuit, even if they don't really match that 100% perfect level, maybe their sleep was off, maybe their hydration was off, maybe whatever. You can list a million circumstances. If that's still their basic main objective, then I think they're set up way better. Because the harder you go in the gym, the more stimulus you're going to come home with, stimulus and fatigue. So now your body's like, shit, man, I got to deal with this. Odds are, dude, what's your number one basic, counter to bodily damage, right? Energy, food. So if you really, get yourself going in the gym and then come back, you're giving yourself a chore to recover from. So odds are you're going to start eating more, and then you're going to start growing more. You're going to get stronger. You're going to come to the gym with an ability to lift heavier weights, and odds are that'll be a motivating factor in and of itself. That'll make you go even harder going forward, and then it's just a damn upward spiral, right? But it's such that you need to push yourself that little extra percent on the regular so that you can continue to make those kind of exponential gains, right? And I say exponential, obviously it's actually diminishing, right? I mean, gains get harder to get the longer you train, but in that sense you have to kind of adapt and go harder as time progresses, right? So I guess my question to you is, look back at your training for the last 6 months, or look back at where you were a year ago or 2 years ago, or for anybody who's lifting for a while, 5 years ago, right? I'm not talking size, I'm not talking strength, I'm not even talking like just experience and the fact that you now know how to do more different styles of working sets and everything else. And I don't care what splits you've been doing. Are you pushing yourself harder than you were back then? Because odds are, if you're not, and that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing to be able to admit to yourself, because the first step to solving a problem is to identify it. Like when I look back at my lifts, I'm a bit steadier now. Like I think I've got a pretty good grasp of pushing it hard. I want to improve, of course, always. But I think I'm getting close to solid with my regular lifts intensity. But I mean, looking back when I was a beginner, I would really have days where I'd have to kind of look back and think, man, have I really been getting after it? Have I really been killing it? I feel like that it's usually just a specific lift. Either I went extra hard and showed myself that I could do it, and it's like, dude, I need to get this level of intensity every lift. What the hell have I been doing? Or I kind of slacked off, and that was a wake-up call, and I got to think, come on, I didn't just go through the process of coming to the gym, getting my friggin' gym outfit on and everything else, and my pre-workout and my music and everything. I didn't just do that to show up and just scrap around. Like, no, I want to friggin' get after it, right? So in either case, the quicker you can have a wake-up call and get a certain sense of urgency where you're like, all right, I need to make tomorrow different than today. The sooner you can do that, the better. That's my mind, right? So it's kind of always just a certain sense of leveling up, kind of internally, if you can imagine. And for the non-initiated, that might sound like nonsense. For anybody who doesn't work out, they don't get what we're talking about here. It's like, it's kind of crazy. Somebody might look at that and say, oh, you can bench 300 pounds? Okay. You only used to be able to do 200? Oh, wow, you can bench another 100 pounds. Look, man, they don't get it. And it's not your responsibility to, explain it either, right? I think we all understand that, the process of working out just overall, it's definitely a pretty damn personal thing. So don't be dissuaded by anybody's lack of approval or just, thoughts or comments or anything else. Right? If this is something you want to get into, the only thing stopping you is simply how hard you're willing to take it, right? And in that sense, every lifter is responsible for their own gains. So all I can do is kind of explain what's helped me and hope you kind of take a couple of points from it. But I'm actually kind of curious now. I want to hear if you guys ever had a moment where you were like that, because I've had a few, like especially in my kind of the home gym in my basement back when I was in high school with my parents. One of the biggest ones I still remember. I was totally just being stupid. I was irresponsible with my time. I stayed up extra late doing some kind of final project that I was like slacking on. So, I put myself in this difficult position. Like it wasn't just because I was totally like, super time responsible or anything. But it's like 2 a.m. I'm pretty tired. I haven't lifted yet. I had chest that day. And right next to me, because my basement bedroom was half bed, half gym. Just like a little one, but it was good enough for me. So I had chest. And I'm like, all right. I can either lay down, go to sleep, or I can get after it. Right? And I mean, let's be real. If I were to just go to sleep, that probably would have been better. I would have been better rested and then be able to have a better lift the next day. Because I had to wake up at 7. So, kind of not really setting myself up for awesome recovery at the time. But in my mind, I had kind of given myself this circumstance. Because this was early when I was working out. I started watching Baki. That was a real hype-ass show for me. So I'm sitting there. I'm like, because I wasn't thinking, okay, I want to just take a rest day. It'll be more effective. That wasn't the thought process. The thought process was, dude, I'm too tired to lift right now. I don't want to do it. That was the kind of mental state. And I had a bit of a WWBD. Like, what would Baki do? Would Baki lay down and freaking give up on his training, or would he go nuts? I know it seems kind of silly, but it was actually pretty damn motivating for me. So I jump out of bed, had a crazy chest day. And then when I laid back down, extra tired, now about to get real shitty sleep. My next day was going to be kind of off. But just the process of doing it because it was extra difficult at the time really freaking amped me up. So if you ever had a situation like that, I'd love to hear it. Because I'm sure that'll get me amped up in return, right? So that's something I'd love to hear. But either way, tell you now is go home, eat something, get ready for bed, and then I've got 30 minutes on the seated bike in the morning. So hopefully you do as well. Right? I can't be sure, right? Well, actually, I kind of can. A lot of you guys tag me on Instagram with the stories, and you're showing all the cardio. So if you post one of those, I'll repost it. We get some extra story action going. But either way, I'm ready for back tomorrow, and I am gonna get a dang good night's rest tonight in preparation. So I'll see you then.